A little girl's heart-wrenching plea revealed a hidden truth that changed the billionaire forever. In the quaint town of Maplewood, where gossip fluttered like autumn leaves, Lily Moore was nothing short of a whirlwind. At just 10 years old, with her wild corkscrew curls and paint-splattered fingers, she painted dreams on every blank canvas. But life was tough. Her mom worked double shifts at the local diner, her face weary yet warm, pouring coffee and frying eggs while Lily scratched away in her well-loved sketchbook, imagining vibrant worlds where art could take her far away. One sunny afternoon, a community fundraising event for the local veteran center brightened Maplewood's cobblestone streets. As children darted about, Lily volunteered, hopeful to raise money to honor those who sacrificed for their freedom. The laughter around her felt buoyant, but then she saw him, Jack Harrington, billionaire and mogul, with cold eyes that had dismissed kindness too many times. Her heart raced as she overheard him scoff, "Charity is a drain on resources." Tightness gripped her chest. How could someone like him belittle the heroes of their town? With her hands quaking, she felt a surge of bravery and approached him, butterflies swirling in her stomach. "Excuse me, Mr. Harrington," she said, her voice wavering yet strong. "My dad is a veteran. He fought for this country and came back with more than just scars. He has heroes inside him just like these men." In that moment, her words poured out, painting a story of sacrifice and heartache. She spoke of her father, his struggles, the tears that spilled quietly at night. Blushing at her vulnerability, she looked into his averted gaze, waiting for a flicker of understanding. And yet, she saw only indifference, his shoulders stiff and dismissive, shrugging her away like a gnat. As she turned to walk away, disappointment mingled with the hope that had inspired her. But Jack behind his tough exteriors felt something stir. It was an uncomfortable stirring beneath layers of pride and arrogance, something he couldn't ignore. Her words echoed in his ears. He watched her tiny figure retreat, burdened by dreams beyond her cramped apartment. Days passed, he found himself unable to shake her face from his mind. A troubling incident at his company revealed a misuse of power and pushed him to confront uncomfortable truths. As he witnessed local families rallying for one another amidst struggle, a flicker of conscience ignited within him, a far cry from the cold businessman he had prided himself on being. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue with each fleeting encounter with townspeople exhibiting warmth and connection. Doubt began to creep into his life of luxury, and a profound internal struggle emerged. Meanwhile, Lily, full of hope, rounded her friends at school, reminding them of their mission to change the world, even if it seemed daunting. Then everything reached a boiling point at a heated meeting where Jack stood on one side, and the community led by Lily's fierce spirit on the other. Tensions rose as economic inequality spilled onto the table in chaotic fervor, pushing Jack to defend his past stance. But as he faced a collective gaze of disappointment and hope, his eyes drifted towards Lily, still small, still brave. In that fraught moment, hope and uncertainty clashed for both of them. Jack was torn between two worlds, and just beyond the horizon lay the possibility of change. Would he embrace it, or retreat once again into his bubble of blissful ignorance? The answer loomed heavily, ready to reshape their destinies and the community they shared. Jack stared at the passionate faces before him, a room filled with local residents who had fought hard for their community. Their kindness and warmth felt like an echo of everything he had long dismissed. He shifted in his chair, sweat trickling down his back, a stark contrast to the cold, polished boardroom where he thrived. "Mr. Harrington," a grizzled veteran named Frank spoke up, his voice cracked but steady. "These veterans, they don't need your pity. They fought for our freedom, and they deserve our respect. Where were you when they came back and needed help? Jack cleared his throat. The weight of Frank's words crushed him. He had spent too long ignoring those who mattered most, trapped in a world defined by profit margins and quarterly reports. He wanted to break free. Suddenly, he remembered Lily, her wide eyes full of hope and fire. Lily, he murmured, as if her name was a lifeline. The community meeting felt electric. Lily stood tall beside her friends, but even amidst the tension, her small frame exuded resilience. Jack could see the determination on her face, a determination that spoke volumes. "Mr. Harrington," she called out again, her voice rising above the murmurs, "please. You can help us make a difference. You can be part of something greater than yourself." Feeling his heart pound, Jack leaned forward, locking eyes with her. "And what if I want to?" he asked, surprising even himself with his question. The crowd gasped, a mixture of shock and tentative hope. Faces turned toward him, eyes wide and expectant. Dare he take this leap? "Then let us talk," he continued, feeling emboldened, fueled by the stirring of emotion that grew stronger. "Let us discuss how I can help our veterans and this community. Let us figure out how I can make things right." A wave of disbelief washed over the gathering. Then slowly, one by one, people began to nod, hope flickering bright in their hearts. Lily's cheeks flushed with excitement, and she couldn't contain her grin. But not everyone accepted his sudden change of heart. A man from the back stood up, his arms crossed defiantly. "You think you can waltz in here and fix everything just like that? You're just going to play the hero when it suits you, huh?" Jack felt a sharp sting. "No," he replied, conviction cutting through his hesitation. "I can't change the past, but I can change the future. Let's work together. I'm willing to listen." He glanced at Lily again, her small arms folded tightly in excitement. He wanted to make her proud. For the first time in years, he felt something meaningful bloom in his chest, a purpose beyond wealth, a chance of redemption. That night, Jack lay awake, his mind racing with the day's events. He envisioned everything he had to lose, but even more, what he could potentially gain. While Maplewood slept peacefully, the billionaire began to sketch plans in his mind. A community center. Art programs. Job training for veterans. But doubts began to creep in, whispering harsh reminders of his past. Would the townspeople believe he was genuine? Could he change enough hearts, including his own? Yet amidst the noise of uncertainty, one thought kept rising to the surface: his chance to reconnect with humanity. That small girl had opened a door within him that he never knew existed. As dawn broke, illuminating his room with golden light, he made a decision. He would reach out to Lily. But would she trust him again, after everything? The possibilities seemed vast and expansive, yet the challenge loomed large. How far would Jack go to prove himself? And could a little girl's hope transform a man who had forgotten what it meant to care? The journey had only just begun. The next morning, Jack's heart raced as he prepared to meet Lily. He could already picture her smile, the way her eyes sparkled with a mix of hope and curiosity. He paced his spacious kitchen, the scent of brewing coffee swirling around him as he checked his watch for the 10th time. Time felt slow, almost mocking him. He drove to the community center, the radio crackling with soft tunes that seemed to echo his own apprehensions. Would they take him seriously? Could he really help? The thought of facing Lily filled him with warmth, but he could feel the weight of the skepticism from the other townsfolk lingering in the back of his mind. When he finally arrived, the center stood proud, a hub of activity, ringing with laughter and chatter. Jack stepped inside, and the energy washed over him like a refreshing breeze. There, amid the vibrant murals painted by local artists, he spotted Lily. She was organizing supplies with her friends, her cheeks flushed with the kind of excitement only children possess. "Lily!" he called, taking a step toward her, and her head whipped around. The moment their eyes met, her face broke into a wide grin that lit up the room. "Mr. Harrington!" she exclaimed, rushing toward him. The rush of her enthusiasm enveloped him like a warm blanket. "You came." "I did," he responded, feeling buoyed by her joy. "I want to help. I want to do more than just talk about it." "You mean it?" she asked, her sincerity melting away any lingering doubts. He nodded vigorously. "Absolutely. I want to hear what you and your friends have in mind. You're the ones living this every day." Lily's eyes sparkled brighter. "We've been thinking about after-school programs. For the kids and the veterans, something where they can all come together, you know?" And just like that, the floodgates opened. As Lily described her vision, Jack could see the changes he was so eager to implement starting to form in his mind. It wasn't just another project, it was a bridge connecting the community, stitching together the hopes of veterans and children alike. Time slipped by as they brainstormed ideas. Jack sketched outlines for flyers and community meetups, inspired by the laughter spilling from the room. As he listened to Lily's enthusiasm, he found himself coming alive, imagination soaring together, hands gesturing wildly in excitement. But just as they seemed to click into place, doubt crept back in. "What if they don't want to listen to me, Lily? What if they think I'm just some rich guy trying to change things because it looks good?" For a moment, silence fell between them. Her expression softened as if she sensed the fear lurking beneath his bravado. "You have to make them believe it, Mr. Harrington. You can't let the past stop you. And it's okay if it takes time," she said, her voice steady and supportive. He swallowed hard, touched by her faith in him. "You really think so?" "I know so," she replied, determination lacing her words. Inspired by her unwavering belief, Jack's resolve strengthened. They would gather the community. Together, they would overcome the skepticism and pave a way forward. "All right, let's plan a town hall meeting," he said, his heart racing at the very idea. "We can invite everyone. We'll get people excited." The thought of uniting the community fired him up. He could see it now, a room full of passionate faces. It wouldn't be an easy road, but with Lily by his side and her infectious energy propelling him, he felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. However, hovering in the back of his mind was a nagging fear. Could he really transform not only this community but his very self? As he left the center that day, uncertainty gnawed at him, mingling with determination. He glanced back at Lily, who was waving goodbye, her smile radiating pure joy. He realized there was more at stake than just a community center. This was about the chance to reclaim his life. Yet, as he walked towards his car, a deeper question loomed: what personal sacrifices would he need to make to truly prove himself worthy of their trust? The journey was just beginning, but the stakes had never felt higher. As the days turned into nights, Jack found himself caught in a whirlwind of preparation. The town hall meeting loomed before him like an intimidating mountain. He spent hours drafting flyers with Lily, hoping to capture the spirit of their endeavor. The bright colors and playful fonts seemed to burst with life, mirroring the enthusiasm that had taken root in his heart. But reality kicked in. Each night, after a long day at the community center, Jack returned home to an empty house that felt more like a cavern than a home. The silence was deafening, and his thoughts echoed off the walls, reminding him of his past mistakes. Would those in the community really see him as an ally, or would they only see the remnants of his former life, wealth, privilege, and a void that had once filled him with ambition but now filled him with regret? On the day of the meeting, Jack woke up with a heavy heart. Even with the encouragement from Lily, a gnawing dread settled deep within him. What if he stood in front of the community and they did not hear him? A million doubts clouded his mind as he suited up. He put his tie on in the mirror, but the reflection seeming so distant. At the community center, the room would surely swell with families and veterans, but in the back of his mind, he also visualized their skeptical faces, arms crossed and brows furrowed, awaiting his every word. The thought unsettled him. Lily arrived early, her contagious energy filling the room with hope. She swiftly moved around, adjusting tables and hanging posters with the volunteers. She seemed to bring the spirit of the community alive, and it stirred something in Jack. Perhaps genuine connection was possible. As the clock ticked closer to the meeting, he felt as if he were suspended in time. Families came, veterans shared stories, and the room buzzed with chatter and laughter. Jack's heart warmed, even as apprehension twisted in his stomach. Finally, it was time. He stood at the front of the room and cleared his throat, the whispers quieting as all eyes turned to him. He felt the cool wood of the podium beneath his palms steady, unwavering like the purpose he hoped to convey. "Thank you all for coming tonight," he began, his voice firm despite the swirling emotions inside. "I'm here to talk about a dream Lily's dream, a dream for kids and veterans to come together." He saw the excitement in Lily's eyes sparkling like stars in the dim light, urging him on. "This is not just about providing programs. It's about building relationships. It's about healing, embracing, and growing." Jack poured every ounce of conviction he had into those words. He spoke passionately about their plans, about how their lives were intertwined and how they could uplift each other. And with each sentence, the room shifted, people leaned in closer. Laughter erupted from Lily's friends, and the veterans nodded with approval. But just as he began to feel the tide turning, his doubts crashed back. "I know I may not be the right person to lead this," he stammered, the air thick with tension. "I'm just a man trying to atone for the past, trying to prove that I belong here." The room fell silent, the words hanging like heavy mist. A young girl's voice pierced through the quiet, small and quivering. "But you care, Mr. Harrington. That's what matters." Tears burned the corners of Jack's eyes. In that moment, her plea echoed not only his own vulnerability but ignited something deeper within him. Jack forced back his emotion, the weight of realization crashing down. Could it be that this little girl held more wisdom than he ever thought he could learn? How does one go from a life measured in dollars to one measured in sincere connections? The energy of the room shifted again, and Jack felt it, a palpable resistance dissipating. The whispers grew louder, this time buzzing with possibility. Yet amid all the excitement, a single thought rattled in his heart: could he really commit to this journey, rewire his life to fuse with those he sought to uplift? As he looked into the faces of the gathered crowd, their hope reflected back at him, he realized that this was just the first step. How far would he be willing to go to prove that he could change? The weight of that question lingered as the meeting wrapped up, each smile and nod from the community affirming what lay ahead. The path to redemption was being forged slowly, yet each step consistently felt shaky. As Jack made his way to his car, a shadow fell across the parking lot, a car he recognized pulling up, electrifying his pulse once more. His past was not finished with him yet. Would it threaten this newfound purpose? He couldn't shake the feeling that the biggest challenge was still to come. Jack leaned against his car, cursing the electric surge of anxiety that buzzed through him. The sun had dipped behind the horizon, casting long shadows that danced eerily across the pavement. As the unfamiliar vehicle parked, the darkness sharpened the outline of the figure stepping out. His heart raced. It was Nathaniel, his old business partner. The man he thought he'd left behind along with his abandoned dreams of wealth and power. Jack's gut twisted as a war raged inside him. He'd worked so hard to step away from that life. This meeting, this community, it had become his lifeline. Yet here was Nathaniel, the very embodiment of all that Jack had fled. "Jack!" Nathaniel called, a wide smile plastered across his face despite the tension hanging in the air. "Heard about the meeting. I have to say, I'm impressed." "Impressed?" Jack echoed, forcing the word out through clenched teeth. "You didn't think it worthwhile to join in until now?" "Come on," Nathaniel waved a hand dismissively, purposeful as ever. "I'm here now. That counts for something. I wanted to see you in action, see if the effort was worth it. Maybe we could even collaborate again." The thought struck Jack like a physical blow. Collaborate? With Nathaniel? Memories flooded back of hurried meetings, late-night strategy sessions, and deals made in back rooms, all while profit drove them further apart from community and connection. Jack's breath hitched. He shook his head. This is a different path now, Nathaniel. I'm not that man anymore. Yes, well, you'll always be that man. You can't escape your roots. Nathaniel took a step closer, eyes flicking with something sharper than friendship. What's a little fundraising compared to what we built together? Come back to the fold, Jack. There's a lot of money to be made. You and I could dominate again. Jack felt his stomach clench. I'm not interested in dominating anything. Really? You're just going to turn your back on all you built? A respectable business? Everyone's looking at you now, and you have the chance to shine. Why waste it on this charity? With each word, Nathaniel dripped honey-coated poison. Jack felt his chest tighten. Could he do it? Could he really forfeit his hope and purpose for the lure of power? The struggles of overcoming his past flashed in his mind. The faces of the community, the children, the veterans, they filled him with resolve. You think your way is the only way? Jack challenged, mixing defiance with uncertainty. All of that wealth doesn't matter if I'm not making a difference. The people here, they need connection. They need someone who truly cares, not just someone looking to fill their pockets. Nathaniel narrowed his eyes. And that's exactly why you'll fail, Jack. This one last. Look at the little girl, the one that brought you to tears. She knows nothing of the world, and soon she'll realize this is just a pipe dream. You can't change anything without the right resources. A tight knot formed in Jack's throat. What if Nathaniel was right? What if this was all just a temporary glow? Would he eventually let everyone down? Before he could answer himself, the doors of the community center swung open, and Lily stepped out, full of energy. When she spotted Jack, her face lit up. There you are. Everyone loved your speech. They're excited about the programs. A flicker of joy surfaced in Jack's heart, but Nathaniel's words lingered like a storm cloud. As Jack watched Lily, buoyed by the success of the evening, he felt the weight of his choices crashing down. Could he stand firm against his past? I have to go, Jack said suddenly, turning away from Nathaniel. The air crackled with unresolved tension. Run while you can, Jack, Nathaniel called after him, a smirk twisting his lips. You'll come back. They always do. Jack's heart pounded as he walked towards Lily. The warmth she radiated was a balm against Nathaniel's chilling words. But as he reached her, a nagging thought clawed at him. Would he truly have the strength to fight off his past? Suddenly, Lily's voice broke through his swirling doubts. Jack, I'd like you to meet my mom. She was so proud of you tonight. As they turned, the hopeful glimmer of a new bond shone through. Little did Jack know, his choices were about to take an unexpected turn, a turn that could change everything he thought he understood about success and redemption. Lily led Jack towards a woman standing just outside the entrance of the community center. Their eyes met, and Jack paused for a heartbeat. He hadn't realized how badly he needed this moment until now. There was something sparkling in Lily's eyes, and it struck Jack that he hadn't felt such unfiltered joy in years. Mom, this is Jack. Lily introduced him with a smile so bright it could light the darkest corners of his soul. Hello, Jack, Lily's mother said warmly, extending her hand. Thank you for everything you did tonight. Lily hasn't stopped talking about your speech. You really inspired her. Jack shook her hand, feeling the warmth and gratitude radiating from her. He could still feel the tingling from Nathaniel's confrontation weighing heavily in his chest, but standing here, amidst the genuine kindness of this woman and her daughter, he felt a flicker of hope return. Thank you, Jack managed, forcing a smile as doubts attempted to slink back into his mind. I only spoke from my heart. I could tell, she replied, her voice sincere. With everything you're doing for this community, you have a gift for making people believe in themselves again. He wanted to believe that. He wanted to believe that what he was doing mattered. Mom, the programs are going to be amazing. Jack is helping all of us, Lily beamed, squeezing her mother's hand. That's wonderful, sweetie. Her mother's gaze shifted back to Jack, her expression shifting slightly as if gauging the depths of his character. But I sense you've had your share of struggles. Jack opened his mouth, ready to deflect the question. To put on his usual veneer and assure her that everything was fine. But suddenly, Nathaniel's words echoed painfully in his mind. Instead, he nodded. I've made some poor choices in the past, but I'm working hard to make things right. Her eyes softened. We all have our journeys. Just don't forget every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. He found himself smiling genuine warmth at her understanding. This was what he had sought, real connection, real progress. But just like that, an uneasy tension crept over him. Nathaniel's warning lingered like the cold of a winter's night. As those anxious thoughts whirled inside him, Lily interrupted. Jack, can we go see the playground after this? The playground? Jack asked, his confusion spilling out. Yes. You said you'd help me fix the swings. Lily exclaimed, her excitement barely contained. Jack's heart melted at her enthusiasm. How could he deny her? Of course, let us make it happen. Lily jumped up and down, her laughter infectious. It's going to be fun. We can make the playground shine. Suddenly, Lily's mother interjected softly, her voice almost hesitant. Just be careful, Jack. There's more at stake than you realize. You care deeply, and that matters. But watch out for those who may not have your best interests at heart. Jack felt a shiver run down his spine. He wanted to reassure her that nothing could threaten the path he was on, but he couldn't ignore the lingering presence of Nathaniel still looming like a shadow. Could he truly protect this community? Protect Lily? That night, as they worked together on their project, Jack found himself laughing and sharing stories, the kind of pure happiness he'd lost sight of. But underneath, the conflict simmered. Nathaniel's words, those doubts followed him. The next morning, Jack awoke with a jolt. His phone buzzed violently on the nightstand. He snatched it up, expecting a routine message. Instead, what popped up on the screen made his breath catch in his throat. It was a text from Nathaniel, and it promised more trouble. What does he want now? Jack muttered, dread pooling in his stomach. But as he read the text, a flicker of determination sparked within him. If he was going to protect those who needed him, he couldn't back down now. Could Jack face the ghosts of his past and forge a new future? The answer awaited him just a finger tap away. Jack stared at his phone, anxiety rippling through him as Nathaniel's message hung over him like a storm cloud. Meet me at the old mill this afternoon. We need to talk about what you're doing. 1,000 thoughts raced in his mind, colliding like a silent storm. What did Nathaniel want? Did he know about the programs Jack was starting? Would he try to sabotage everything? As much as he wanted to shake off the worry, it settled heavily on his chest. He couldn't shake the sense that Nathaniel was more of a threat than just words. Maybe it was the way he interacted with the community, the way he towered over Jack in that heated moment. Jack took a deep breath, looking around his small apartment filled with half-finished projects and hopeful sketches. The vibrant colors of Lily's drawings on the fridge filled him with warmth, a reminder of why he couldn't walk away. He had to be a part of something bigger than his mistakes. He had to fight for Lily and everyone else who believed in him. The morning crept on. Jack's phone buzzed again, breaking him from his thoughts. It was a notification from the community center, a message from Lily. Jack. Can't wait for the playground fix. I told my friends about you. They think you're super cool. A ripple of warmth spread through him. Super cool felt like a lifeline. If Lily saw something good in him, maybe he could finally believe he was more than just his past. After a quick breakfast, he set out to the playground. With every step, a mixture of anticipation and dread grew. He pictured Lily, her infectious laugh mixing with the sound of chains on swings, the way she could light up any space just by being there. When Jack arrived, the morning air was thick with the smell of fresh paint and grass. It was still quiet, save for the distant sounds of a few children playing. Lily was already there, tugging at her mom's arm as they walked toward him. "Jack! Look, I brought my friends." Little heads bobbed at her sides, their curious eyes wide with excitement. As they gathered around, Jack knelt to meet them. "Hey there! Who's ready to fix some swings?" A chorus of cheers erupted, and he felt something shift inside him, like a shield against Nathaniel's looming shadow. They worked together, the children's laughter melting away his worries. Each swing he fixed was a little piece of his heart healing, reminding him that he was forging something real here, something worth fighting for. But in the middle of their laughter, Jack's phone buzzed again, an urgent flood reminded him. The call wasn't Nathaniel this time. It was the community center, asking for his presence at an emergency meeting. Jack felt panic gnawing at him. "Lily, I have to go, but we're not done," she protested, her face falling. "I know, sweetie. But I'll be back. I promise," Jack said, his tone reassuring. He left the playground, a heavy heart trailing behind him. As he walked, his mind raced with fears. What if Nathaniel had already made his move? What if this meeting changed everything? When Jack reached the center, the atmosphere was tense. Faces looked up at him, worry etched in their expressions. "What is going on?" Jack asked, bracing himself. "Have you seen the news?" One of the volunteers whispered, fear lacing her voice. He took a steadying breath before answering, "No, what happened?" Their eyes shifted, and the weight of their silence pressed down like a lead blanket. The news might change everything. And Jack couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being pulled further into a storm he was struggling to navigate. What if he was too late to protect the community? What if Nathaniel's influence was deeper than he imagined? The meeting began, and Jack held his breath as everything unfolded in front of him, wondering if he was prepared to face whatever came next. The air in the community center was thick with tension as Jack took his seat among the others. Conversations buzzed around him like angry bees. He tried to focus, but his mind kept replaying the last few moments in the playground. The sound of laughter faded, replaced by the nagging fear that had settled in his gut. The head of the community center, Ms. Carter, finally stood up, her voice shaky yet resolute. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice. I know you've seen the recent news about the proposed development downtown. There are plans to demolish the playground and build a shopping complex where kids play every day." A wave of shock rippled through the room. Jack's heart dropped at the thought. Could Nathaniel be behind this? It felt all too real. Memories of Lily's laughter rushed through his mind. He could picture her swinging high in the air, face alight with joy. "You can't let this happen," he blurted out, the words spilling from him without a filter. "What can we do?" a voice asked from the back. It was Rachel, a mother of 3. "This is our home. We can't lose this place." Ms. Carter nodded, urgency in her eyes. "We need to organize a protest, gather support from local families, and reach out to the press. They can't take our community from us without a fight." Jack felt a spark of passion ignite inside him. "I can help organize things. We can create flyers, set up a community meeting, settle down, everyone." Ms. Carter interrupted, raising her hands. As quieter voices began to emerge, they all shared speculative glances, the fear of Nathaniel's influence lurking in the air. But Jack knew he couldn't sit back anymore. He had been given a second chance, and he knew what he had to do. I can talk to Lily's friends at school too, he added. If we get the kids involved, their parents will follow. Suddenly, the door swung open, and in walked Nathaniel, his presence looming over the room like an eclipse. Conversation stopped abruptly as all eyes turned toward him. Jack's heart raced, the unease tightening his chest. Nathaniel stood a few feet away, his confidence unmistakable. I heard there were some concerns about progress, he began, his voice smooth. I want to assure you, what we're doing is for the betterment of the community. Betterment for whom? Jack shot back, standing up as anger surged within him. He couldn't let this man twist the truth. How does tearing down our playground that our kids love help anyone? You're only thinking about profit. Murmurs of agreement broke out among the crowd as Jack's words struck a chord. Nathaniel's eyes narrowed, his calm demeanor slipping for a moment. You don't understand. This is bigger than you, Jack. The room buzzed with tension, everyone instinctively clustering more closely in solidarity. Jack took another step forward, heart pounding. Maybe it's time you started understanding, Nathaniel. We're not backing down. Just then, a timid voice piped up. It was Lily, standing at the door, clutching her mother's hand. She wore a determined expression that broke Jack's heart. I don't want to lose my playground. She called out, her small voice ringing with conviction. The entire room turned to her, and in that moment, Jack could see the flicker of hope they all shared. Their community was strong, and together, they could do something incredible. But as Nathaniel's gaze darkened, Jack felt a chill. This was just the beginning of a battle he had never anticipated. He took a deep breath, looking at Lily and feeling the pressure of her gaze mixed with his own determination. What would Nathaniel do next? Would he push further to erase everything Jack had fought for? A plan began to form in his mind. They needed to fight fire with fire, and Jack was ready to step into the fray. As the whispers subsided, he glanced at the faces around him, each filled with a spark of bravery and the uncertainty that came with it. Time was of the essence, and he breathed deeply, ready to take on whatever came next. Little did he know, Nathaniel had been working on a plan of his own, one that would turn the fight into something much more dangerous than he could imagine. Jack stood frozen, feeling the weight of the moment heavy on his shoulders. He glanced around the room, noting the countless worried faces illuminated by a flickering overhead light. The families he had seen at the playground, children laughing and playing, all now being threatened by someone who cared nothing for them. Nathaniel's voice broke through the silence, cold and calculated. You think you can mobilize the community? This isn't just about a playground. This is about progress, growth, and business. Money talks, my friends, and I have a lot of it. The room erupted with murmurs of discontent. We're not listening to you, Nathaniel. Rachel shouted, her face flushed with anger. Jack felt the fire inside him strengthen. He stepped forward, drawing the eyes of the crowd. We don't need to be rich to win this fight. We have what he doesn't love for our community and each other. The nostalgia of summer spent on that playground fueled his words. The laughter, the bonds formed, neighborhood picnics, those were worth more than any dollar amount. He flashed a quick smile at Lily, whose wide eyes sparkled with hope. He could feel her belief, strengthening his resolve. Let us bring together as many people as we can, he continued, his voice steady. Let us talk to local businesses, parents, bring kids into the conversation. Everyone deserves a voice. As Jack spoke, he noticed a few people nodding, their fears mingling with newfound determination. Ms. Carter stepped forward, her posture straighter now. Jack's right. We need to unite. Let us start planning our protests, get signs made. We want the media to cover our cause. If we can get enough attention, there's no way they can ignore us. More voices joined in, each suggestion building on the last. The energy in the room shifted from worry to action, a palpable charge coursing through the air. But Nathaniel remained unyielding. You think prior campaigns will save your playground? I've played this game longer than you've lived. You're outnumbered, outfinanced. Jack shot him a look filled with defiance. That may be true, but we have something you can't buy: integrity. This place means everything to us, the love and memories embedded in its very soil. We aren't just a blockade to your plan, we're people fighting to keep a corner of happiness alive. Lily squeezed her mother's hand tighter, her small stature somehow commanding a presence. You have to listen to us. If you take away our playground, you take away our fun, our friends, our happiness. The sincerity in her voice cut through the tension, leaving a collective gasp in its wake. Jack noticed a shift in Nathaniel's expression, a flicker of vulnerability betraying the confidence he had trumpeted earlier. But just then, a man bursting through the door interrupted the moment, breathing heavily as he wiped sweat from his brow. I have news. I overheard something at the city council meeting. All heads turned in anticipation. The man's revelation hung in the air, as fraught with implications as the last words had been. Jack held his breath, heart racing, nerves on edge. What could this news mean for their fight? Would it bring them hope, or would Nathaniel retaliate in a way he never expected? And as the man finally spoke, a tremor ran through the gathered crowd, a realization setting in that could change everything. The man cleared his throat, tension pressing against his words. I heard Nathaniel's name mentioned during a discussion. They're planning to vote on tearing down the playground this Friday. But that's not all. I think there's a legal loophole we can use to delay it. A noticeable shift lingered in the air, the sound of murmurs bubbling with urgency and hope. Jack felt adrenaline surge through him. Legal loophole? What do you mean? He asked quickly, heart pounding in his chest. I overheard them talking about the absence of a proper community survey before proceeding to make changes. If we act fast, we can push them to conduct one. We just need a united front, the man urged, looking directly at Jack, eyes shining with determination. Then that's what we'll do. Jack declared, fire igniting in his spirit. We gather families, veterans, everyone, and demand that survey. If we can show them how much this means, maybe we can put a stop to Nathaniel's plans. Lily's eyes sparkled as she nodded eagerly, excitement bubbling within her. And I'll tell all my friends. They'll help. Everyone loves the playground. As voices grew more resolute, Jack turned to Nathaniel. This isn't just a playground. It's a piece of our lives. This community deserves to be heard. You keep trying to push us down, but we stand firm, and we will not back down. Nathaniel's jaw clenched tighter as realization dawned on him. This was no longer a simple business transaction. The air crackled with defiance, and Jack felt a newfound strength within himself, seeing local families rally behind their voices filled with passion and heart. We have until Friday, Miss Carter reminded, urgency underscoring her tone. Let us split up, reach out to as many people as possible. We need signs, petitions, everything to show we mean business. Jack clasped his hands together, feeling vulnerable yet empowered. Let us meet at the playground tomorrow morning. We'll strategize, gather signatures, and plan our protest. Remember, we may not have money, but we have unity. The excitement surged through the crowd, small children buzzing with laughter, older siblings feeling the spark of rebellion, and parents encouraging them with smiles. Jack couldn't help but soak in the energy, feeling a sense of belonging he hadn't realized he craved. Quick! We need to organize ourselves. Lily shouted, putting her little hands on her hips with adorable seriousness. Let us make this fight fun. We can have art contests to make the best signs. This is great! Jack exclaimed, thrilled by her enthusiasm. Let us have a sign-making party. But just as the community began to buzz with vibrant plans, Nathaniel stepped back, a dark look creeping onto his face. You think you can fight City Hall? You think the press will care about your little protest? it's all futile. But Jack held Nathaniel's challenging gaze without flinching. I think you underestimate the power of a community fighting for something it loves. Unity can topple giants. Lily beamed at him, her steadfast belief lighting a path ahead. In that moment, Jack made a silent promise to protect what they held dear, no matter the cost. As the meeting drew to a close, Jack felt invigorated. The worry of his past began to lift like a fog giving way to a bright sun. Unlike before, he didn't need to stand alone. He had a community to call home, and he would do everything to keep it safe. When he stepped outside, a gentle breeze ruffled his hair, and the stars twinkled above, instilling a sense of calm. But deep down, he still felt the haunting shadow of Nathaniel looming, waiting for the right moment to strike. They weren't out of danger yet. Together, he and Lily would carve out a future for the playground. And as Jack drove home that night, he envisioned the space a colorful haven filled with laughter and connection, the embodiment of everything he'd lost and everything he hoped to gain. He would face his past and take on Nathaniel, but this time, it would be with heart, courage, and the love of a community behind him. Tomorrow would be a new step in their journey, and he promised himself, he wouldn't let them down. After everything they had fought for, it was time to show Jack Harrington was no longer just the billionaire who forgot his roots. It was time for him to stand tall for what truly mattered, the future of Maplewood and the hearts of its people. As the sun rose the next day, Jack felt ready to fight. He took a moment and closed his eyes, channeling every ounce of determination he had. This was at a defining moment that would shape both his life and the lives of everyone he now cherished. Together, as one voice rising against the tide, they would stand firm. And when Friday came, they would not just protest, they would ensure their story was heard loud and clear. But he couldn't do it alone. He needed you. If you want to be part of this journey, make sure you subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to show your support. Comment your reactions, your feelings about this ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your actions can truly make a difference.